I think stand-up is what I do best. And
Sure.
also, Hollywood turned me into this. they turned me into a stand-up monster.
He goes in front of the Hollywood sign. He goes,
You did this to me! Like, I'm on stage. You think I want to be great at this? But
I
I'm
wanted to be a mediocre comedian, but I wanted to be like on Euphoria.
I just wanted to host some CW stuff every so often. And this stand-up was a thing I did in between jobs.
You think I want to have these many tags in this show?
Yeah.
This first episode is with my good buddy, whom I've known for so long, the incredibly prolific and comedian, Fahim Anwar. He has 3 one-hour specials. You can see them on his YouTube page, which I will link below. He's been on TV and film. He's done stand-up on The Tonight Show, on Conan. He's absolutely incredible. I've known him for so long. We were in a sketch group for a long time called Goat Face. Some of the members you may know, Air Atari was on SNL, and Hassan Minhaj, who is, is Hassan Minhaj. Oh, those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Asif Ali. I'm an actor and comedian. You may have seen me on such shows as WandaVision, Wrecked, Mandalorian, New Girl, Shrinking. I will be on Agatha, which will be on Marvel Disney Plus later this year. And I'm very pumped to be on a new show called Deli Boys. I'm wearing the jacket again, which will be out on Hulu. It's an incredible action comedy about a South Asian family that gets deep into the world of drugs in Philadelphia. You're going to love it. I'm very excited to get into that in later episodes. I wanted to always ask him about sort of the mechanics of him being such a prolific and gifted comedy writer. The way he can just churn out material that's high quality so fast is something that's always fascinated me, and I've always admired that about him. So I was really interested in getting into that. And, asking him about working at Boeing. He worked at Boeing for a long time, and I just straight up asked him why these doors are flying off these goddamn planes. And we get an answer to that. As well as auditioning, for SNL and other big career things like that. And in this one, we found a park that was near him. And you'll know it's a park because if you're keeping your eyes out, there will be geese just randomly walking behind us. So I'm very excited for you guys to see this episode. Episode 1 with the great Fahim Anwar. Enjoy. 2 straight men won't just sit in a park. The only way to do it is if it's a podcast. See, we're breaking barriers. You know what I mean?
This is my blanket.
Normalize
Teamwork.
guys sitting in a park together. How many specials? You've done 3 now?
Yeah, 3.
3 hours.
3 hours, baby.
I wanted to ask you what has changed about your approach, or what would you change from the first one to the third one?
I guess the media landscape is changing and everything, so owning your special, like unless a streamer or somewhere is going to throw you bags of cash.
Sure.
Just do it yourself and own it, because very few places can offer you eyeballs anymore.
Yeah.
And I think when you're a young comic, you're just like, yeah, do it for me, or
you want the stamp.
Put me on. You want the stamp.
Yeah.
But we couldn't see it because we were too close to it. It was changing.
Sure.
So Comedy Central was the blueprint when we were coming up. We're like, yeah, special on that, or somebody doing it for you was the way to do it. And then it started to change. So my last 2 have been YouTube releases, and I'm so happy that I just did it that way.
Because you're going straight to the people.
Everything is direct to consumer now. These higher Hollywood people, they can't do it. They're trying to figure out their place too. They're like,
sure,
how do I, because the model is being busted, and you're getting the people, I'll get noticed from my IG reels. What a departure from that's not, it's something and it's nothing, you know what I mean?
So back in the day it was like, oh, you did a late night, and then now you've done late nights.
Yes, I know, but I joke about it. I go, I did the Tonight Show, because they'll say this next guy's been on Tonight Show or whatever. I'm like, I did Tonight Show. Everyone claps and everything, and I'm like, nobody watched it. Nobody watched it. I go, I did it in the wrong decade. I go, I'm gonna do a silent movie next.
Sure. What about the approach of the gathering and sort of organizing of material and stuff? Do you feel like writing and performing and preparing for a special has changed from the first to the third one?
It's more of like a familiar hat. The first one, it's almost like it's analogous to rap and stuff. You have your whole career to
which you know a lot about rap.
So much about
he
rap.
He knows a lot about rap.
I think your audience can tell.
Yeah, yeah.
I read
Big hip hop heads.
Hip-hop.
Take it from two guys in a park.
sitting on a blanket under a tree. We go hard. Why do you think we're on the streets?
That's true. We are technically on the streets. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're like streets adjacent. We're on grass, but we made sure to have streets behind us.
Yeah.
Because we're not forgetting where we came from.
Yeah, we're the guys that made it out. Yeah.
We made it onto the grass.
Sure.
We made it onto the grass.
Okay, so like you're saying, so like, an artist has their whole life to make that first album, so it's just
and then it becomes less daunting.
Yeah.
And you've done it, and now it's almost. I've been doing stand-up 22 years at this point, and I just realized specials.
Isn't that crazy?
I know.
How old were you when you started?
18.
Wow. You've been doing comedy longer than how old you were when you started.
It's weird.
Dang.
It's very weird. But then you do it long enough, and you just it becomes less scary, less daunting, and you just realize you're like a cow who needs to be milked.
Yeah.
So the special is the bucket.
Every
and
year
it's
and a
for
half,
all,
you're
yeah.
I gotta be milked.
I gotta put this someplace.
Yes.
Because I think you need to put it somewhere to allow the flow of new ideas too.
I always felt like you were great for the internet too because you have such a high output.
Yeah, you know what's
such
weird?
A fast turnaround, such a high output. Where most comedians, and I'm kind of including myself in this too, where I can turn stuff around, but not nearly as fast and as the ability to get idea to have it polished and then in a set. I feel like for you is much faster than the average comedian, and you can I feel like figure it out in town doing short sets where I feel like I can only really get the hour sort of figured out when I'm like on the road and I can put all these chunks together and be like that chunk actually should be here and this chunk should be here, but I feel like you can because your jokes are so much more like tight,
and dense or whatever.
That you can kind of jam them.
For some reason, I've always maybe just because that's the way I came up. Like I was just doing sets around town.
Sure.
I would always operate in 10 to 15 minute sets most of my comedy career.
Yeah.
So I liked writing to that, and I like how nimble you can be. And,
you can hop around. Yeah.
Hop around, and I think that superpower came because early on in my career, I think I would try new stuff way too much to a detriment. Where maybe it's taken me 22 years to pop. Where if I had just stuck to like a solid
set, 7,
my god, because I would just get bored so fast.
Yeah, same.
And I would want to inject new jokes.
Yeah.
On a show where there was some like important people, and I probably shouldn't have been doing that.
Yeah.
You know, that was a lesson that I had to learn like later in my career. I was a bonehead, but knowing what shows to crush on and what shows to work on stuff on.
Yeah.
Like that it was too much of a gray area. I just try to do it on everything.
Yeah.
But because that's why I love stand up, just things working for the first time.
Oh, nothing's better.
Nothing's better, but like that's what I'm chasing. I think it just wired my brain to have that ability because I think I would take more swings than the average comedian, and
many more swings.
And I would bomb, but I was just chasing this thing. So then when I got good at it, now it's a great skill to have. And also, I remember I was in Austin because this whole putting your stuff on the internet thing it was kind of new. It's only within the last couple of years.
Sure.
I was in Austin. I was just like talking to my brother. My brother's a dentist, and sometimes like he's like kind of an entrepreneur, so he plays me like a video game.
Do you think? So
I was just like, man, I just want to I was getting fed up with traditional Hollywood and shit because I wasn't a guy they gave a fuck about. I wasn't getting the specials. I wasn't getting the things. I just wasn't what they wanted.
Yeah.
And like what you're talking about, like, oh, you write a lot and you can turn it around. I go, I just want to release the floodgates, man. I just want to fucking put it out there.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting. And then when Schultz started doing his YouTube specials, I go, I just want to put clips on the internet and caption them, and I've been doing that for the past. I think it was around the pandemic, or maybe a year before the pandemic.
Yeah,
it's been like it took digital to kind of take the baton.
Yeah,
and now I'm seeing more happen in my career. Just
people
going,
coming out.
Yeah, like I'm selling tickets just by putting my stuff out there.
Yeah,
because people just like funny.
That's all they care about.
Yes,
especially for stand-up, it really is just a matter of, do people know that you exist?
There's that, and then also I think in traditional Hollywood, they are like Goldman Sachs. They're just bean counters. They're like, okay, good-looking white guy. Okay, black guy. There's an audience. Mexican guy. There's a huge demographic. Afghan American Fahim Anwar, weird name.
And that's why I've always said you not wearing a turban was one of your career's biggest mistakes.
I know. My first manager told me to.
If you had a turban on,
because I was on stage and I took it off, and he was like, "What are you doing?"
That's your Bert Kreischer. You take your turban off when you get on stage. And they go, "This guy's crazy!"
What is it, like Pradeep Kreischer?
Yeah.
You gotta get that there. And then takes. Everyone's like, "It's gonna get wild."
Oh my God.
But with the internet,
yeah,
I think these suits and stuff are realizing like it's almost like jazz or something. Like, oh, there's
100%.
people who actually just really like stand up.
Yeah.
It's gonna be smaller
Sure.
than people who want to party and shit.
Yeah.
Because there are some stand-ups who can piggyback on some other larger demographic.
Yes.
But there are some people who just really love stand-up.
Now, you used to be an engineer. What percentage of your audience do you feel like are engineers and they can sense you have that energy about you?
I think they can sense I have that energy, but I don't know if I have a huge engineering fan base.
Have you ever asked your audience?
It's not like they're throwing TI-89s on stage.
Not
like,
yet.
Yeah, like instead of roses. I'm like, they like me. They really like
Texas
me.
Instruments.
Yeah, just compasses. I'm getting cut. But I have noticed this thing because that is my lore or whatever, that I worked at Boeing. And
by the way, the doors are flying off.
I was there when that wasn't happening.
And that's
just a testament to how good I was.
And that's just how good you are. This is on record. When Fahim was working at Boeing, zero doors flew up.
Yeah.
Zero doors.
And I worked on I didn't work on the doors. I worked on the floor beams.
On the floor beams.
What if people start like just
falling
crashing
out of the
sky? They're going to the bathroom and go, ah. And I go, what section was that? Was it beam 480 to 620? Oh, boy, that was my section. Just the beverage service.
Yeah, it falls right through. It is kind of crazy to work at a company and then...
and they're murdering people.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was there when that wasn't happening. But my dad used to work at Boeing, too. He was an engineer there for a long time.
Oh, you come from a long line of Boeing.
That's our coal mine.
I see.
The cubicle is our coal mine.
Yeah. That was your Friday Night Lights.
I have cubicle lung. But there was this shift that happened. So McDonnell Douglas bought Boeing or whatever.
Yeah.
They merged. So then the culture changed because Boeing was all engineer first and engineering driven.
Yeah.
And then they moved their headquarters to Chicago, and then it became all about numbers. And it was being run by businessmen. So it was less
cutting corners.
Yeah, it was less engineering first and then more business.
You know, someone in that board meeting probably started the meeting by being like, what if we just don't have doors on the plane?
Yeah,
and they're like
air doors.
They're like, okay, well, we got to put doors on the plane. And then he
goes,
like, well, what if
what
if we put one screw instead of 4 screws?
You're like cutting your costs.
Yeah. And they're like, great.
They go higher.
Awesome. Buy the yacht.
Promote this man.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Okay, so did your dad do the same job that
he
you did?
Yeah, he did stress analysis, but he worked on different. I worked on the 747.
Yeah.
-8. It's getting very technical.
No, people, my fans, dude,
they love the nitty gritty.
They love this. They're Googling. They have another tab open and they're typing it in right now.
They're typing in 747-8
Yeah, they're looking at
freighter.
a 3D diagram and they're like kind of turning it around to find the exact beam.
They have their Apple Vision Pro.
And they're like, whoa, I'm in it right now.
They're pulling up models. They're minority reporting this pod.
Oh my god.
So yeah, 747-8 freighter and then passenger. And my dad worked on the 777.
Mm-hmm. That's a big daddy, 777.
Big daddy.
Yeah.
And then what else? The Dreamliner a little bit, I guess.
So when you're working in Boeing, all these companies also do like military contracts. Is that a different department entirely?
Yeah, I think El Segundo does some more military stuff like satellites. I just worked on commercial stuff.
Yeah. So you don't have any blood on your hands.
Yeah, I'm good. I wasn't like, put me on bombs. Enough of this floor beam shit. I want the boom boom.
I'm sick of the domestic flights.
Yeah, I'm writing my name on the... That's such a weird thing, dude.
So
like no matter what the conflict is, just like writing your name on a bomb, like...
Yeah, there's like celebrities going around writing their names on bombs.
They think the person's going to be on the ground like, what? Rob Thompson? Oh, shit.
Oh, my God.
This payload is compliments of Rob Thompson? Like, this guy has eagle eyes, and he's about to die. That's no good. Or do you think he has binoculars?
It's such
who's this bomb compliments of?
Yeah, like, what a weird thing.
You're already killing a person. That's not enough?
That's not enough for you? And they're like, no, they need to know.
It's almost like the next step would be a bomb that has a robotic finger come out and, like, wet willy you. Like Acme. It just gives you a wedgie before it blows up.
Or it has a signed headshot. When the celebrities do it, I'm like, just glue a DVD to it at the same time.
Yeah.
What are we doing
like
at this
their
point?
IMDb is just glued to it.
Were there people who like being an Afghan comedian, but I feel like it's not immediate. When people look at you, they don't
Are you saying there's not a lot of us?
There's not a lot, and that's good. Yeah, I'm just here to tell everyone that I
got that market No, there's another one now.
No,
but I mean, I was a trailblazer.
You're a trailblazer.
I had to get a lot of disappointed looks before I was sitting under a tree.
And look at you
on the Reseda Tarzana
You've done comedy
border.
for 22 years, and now
we're in front of a hero place, man.
And now there's one more. So
One
your
more, baby.
your effect on the community is
I let them know it's possible.
astronomical.
I let them know that this dreams do come true. You do get shade.
Yeah. So did you ever find that people were like, dude, just talk about
all the time.
Talk about the Taliban or something.
There is that. There's a trap that you could fall into that. Like, and I was always very aware, and I just know what my comedy sensibilities are. I'm American. I was born in Everett, Washington.
Yeah.
I grew up in the Pacific Northwest. I grew up with The Simpsons, SNL, Conan. I have very American and mainstream sensibilities. That's what my mind gravitates towards. That I want to talk about everything.
Yeah.
And then sometimes
you'll
get
have bits.
Sometimes, yeah. But if it comes to me,
you're not forcing
yeah. I'm
Some
not.
people force it.
I don't want to force it.
Yeah.
And you get these opportunities like, hey, will you play this Muslim Student Association gig? And it may be a lot of money, but it just felt like work. Mm-hmm. And then I know that when I do the gig, they're not gonna like what I do. I think some people just see you on paper and they go, okay, he's brown, he has this name, he's Muslim, he'll play this. But then they saw me at a comedy club, so they saw me on home court.
Sure.
And that's a universal audience.
Yeah.
For me to do an MSA event and do well, it would be like doing a children's party.
I'm not gonna lie
I can't
to you.
talk about certain things.
Yeah, I've done those merely for the money.
I'm not blaming anyone, but I just like it's just like more work than I want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
especially if you could choose between one or the other, no one picks a banquet hall as a place to do comedy.
Yeah. And I like sometimes the money's great. I understand why some other like comedian friends might do it too, but if you do too much of that, then it's almost I'd rather work at Boeing. If I'm just doing comedy to capitalize on this like brown demo, that's not comedy to me. That's just a job, and I'd rather be in a cubicle building planes that fall out of the sky.
I'd rather be building planes where the wings fall off. Yeah.
Because they're pretty chill, obviously. You know,
they're pretty chill with the. They don't really need anything to stay on the whole flight.
They go. Did you crunch the numbers? I go. Does it matter? Just here's the papers, man.
As long as we make 1 penny more at the end of the year, we're fine.
I saved you money.
Did you have you been to Afghanistan?
I haven't. No.
Wow. I mean, that's a tricky place. I mean, I'm lucky because like I'm Indian, so it's like not a tricky thing to go. But then I have friends who are like come from places where you're like, oh, it's not easy to go there.
Right. I mean, the joke is like it's never a good time. It's never quite the right time. You know what I mean?
And you don't want to go because you feel like you'll have too many fans there.
Yes,
people
it'll be like Beatlemania. Like cue up a Middle Eastern version of Hard Day's Night.
They're like
Hard Day's Night. It's just my head behind like a shawarma.
It's just you in a suit, just running as fast as you can.
I'm on a camel. Just all these burkas following me. I'm reading the newspaper.
There's guys on the back of Toyota Tacomas just racing towards you.
And then the Taliban catch me. It gets very dark very quickly. Like at first, I'm just running away from fans.
Immediately captured.
And then the Taliban with AK-47, they're like, "What are you doing?" And like, "Why are you playing music?" And I'm like, "What?" Bang, 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 bang. I have a bag on my head. Bang, bang, bang. It's been a hard.
But you know what? Even with them, I feel like they would be like, you're a comedian, and then they would do the same thing. Anybody
tell me a joke.
Yeah, tell me a joke. They would do the same thing.
That is so funny. How like no matter how evil and what a villain you are, even Hitler.
You're funny?
So someone finds out you're a comedian. Even Hitler would be like, "Oh, tell me a joke."
Yeah.
Like it can melt the coldest heart.
But then 9 times out of 10, they're gonna be like, "That's not funny," and then
like
they would for sure kill you.
You meet the devil in the flesh. He's like, "Oh, you're a comedian." Tell me a joke.
Yeah.
That's not very funny. I give you a chance.
Yeah, joking about kids is not funny. Yeah.
He gets offended?
He has a line, yeah.
That's not cool, dude. Domestic abuse isn't funny, man. Even though I invented it. It's not funny, dude.
Do you still have family there?
No. Yeah, I think everyone got out.
Everybody
Maybe
got
super
out.
distant, but like, yeah, I don't. Everyone's here.
Where in Afghanistan?
Kabul?
Kabul. Okay.
Yeah.
At least that's a airport.
Bro, that's where you want to be.
Yeah, that's where you want to be.
It's like American Idol. They go like, you're going to Kabul.
Have
like,
people?
Because they go to different villages and stuff, and they go, you're going to Kabul. The golden ticket. Like, if you want to make it, you got to go to the big city.
Yeah.
If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. Literally. No.
Do you, okay, so do you have people from there have you ever had people from Afghanistan like message you on the internet?
Not a lot. I don't think so.
But it has happened.
Yeah.
Being like, yo, I'm in Kabul. What's up? I think that's how you get to the country. You have to find somebody who lives there and be like, hey, I'm coming. Can you help me facilitate that kind of a thing?
I would imagine you need some boots on the ground person to like.
For sure.
Yeah, to like guide you through
That's not a place you just show up and go, what's on TripAdvisor?
Yeah. I can't just pull up some like Rick Steves guide to.
That's a short guide. Yeah.
We're in the bazaar of.
Even in India, like when I would go to India, like when I went with my cousin, we had an astronomically better time than we just went by ourselves, because you're just constantly, they can tell immediately you're not local.
Yeah.
As much as you try, hey,
your
I'm gonna be like
body language.
Body language. Apparently, it's like when you go to a place, they can tell because you'll like
look up.
You'll be looking up all the time, which is like a surefire sign. Like if you went anywhere, like if you're just walking on the street and the person was just like the whole time, you're like, well, that person's not. Steal his wallet for sure. You got to upcharge that guy. Everywhere we went, every restaurant we would go to, they would always, when we weren't with my cousin, they would always, because they would hear us speak English, they would always add like 3 more entrees.
Just on what? Like just slip it in?
So like, let's say we went to a diner, right?
Yeah.
But in that situation, they would just add like 3 more pancake meals on it, in the hopes that you would just see it and be like, whatever, just put it on the card. But my brother is such a he's a principle guy.
Yes.
He's like, it's not about the money, it's about the principle. So he'll look at it and he'll be like, yay.
What is this?
And then this is my favorite part. So we were there at the restaurant, and what happens is they have a system, and the system is various states of sorry, right? But it's like a video game. You have to get all the way to the end before they actually change something. So the first guy came out and he was like, hey man, this is wrong. And he goes, sorry, I can't do anything. And then another guy comes out behind him. So they use a numbers game, right? So it's that guy said, I can't do anything. And then another coworker of his comes out and we say the same thing, and he goes, sorry, yeah, we can't do anything.
Yeah.
And then another person comes out and goes, sorry, yeah, we can't change it in the machine. Sorry, whatever. And then you have to go, we're not leaving here until you change this. And then 2 more people came, said the same thing. Then the actual manager came, and then he was like, all right, we'll change it. But you legitimately have to like wear certain people down, because if they're trying to scam you, you have to. The only defense to getting scammed is being like, no, I will literally
stand your ground.
I got all day.
I was gonna be funny if like, what if they keep on doing that and then they kick you up to corporate and then it's a white guy, it's a call center in America
in San Francisco. Be like, hi, this is Devin. How can I help
he's
you?
Like, hey, this is Ranjit. I can't help you. You go.
Oh, it's a white guy pretending to be an Indian guy. That's so funny.
Hey, this is Ranjit. What's your problem? Are you really Indian? Yep, super. I just had a gulab jamun. Anyways, what is the problem? For some reason, it's more cost effective to
hit it
have
back.
a white call center pretending they're Indian.
That's so funny. But even in India, like having a guide when you travel, just having someone you know, it doesn't need to be some sort of travel person.
Sure.
But just a local person just can cut through the bullshit in a way that you just don't know.
That, and then they'll steer you clear of all the tourist traps, so that you're not just having.
Well, I hope you go,
meal.
man.
Yeah, I would like to eventually. I
wish
I could be guaranteed that it's safe, and
I think if you went through whatever, like the embassy and all that, and you had people that you knew were there to pick you up and like do all that kind of stuff, then I think you would be fine.
You're like, if you show up in a Hurt Locker suit,
I think
and you drive around in a Pope mobile,
get a helmet.
Yeah.
Wear a UN vest and a helmet.
I'm just like what a beautiful culture. And they go, don't veer off the path too much.
Yeah. No, I feel like you're gonna go, and it's gonna be super fun.
What if I just like undercover boss myself? So just
oh shit,
I get like a beard and like a different nose.
Because you know what I think was gonna happen? It's like when I went to India for the first time, it is like a weird sense of like you get this feeling. I don't know how to describe it, but we spend so much of our lives here feeling like when we go into some place we're the odd one out.
Yeah.
And then to go to a place where everybody is you go, I remember going to India and being like, oh, this is what white people feel like.
Oh, whoa.
I was just another guy.
Yeah.
There was nothing interesting about me.
That's refreshing.
It was
That's kind of
so
cool.
it was like this wave of sort of like, oh, I'm just like a regular fucking guy.
Yeah.
It was really weird, and I think when you go, you'll feel that, and it's a weird feeling.
It'll be like calming.
It's very
and, like, I'm
calming
home.
and like grounding in a way.
It is weird when you think about. Sometimes I do think about like, man, what if my parents never came here?
Yeah.
How different my life would be if I was.
Same.
I wouldn't be doing jokes.
And
I
then when
wouldn't
you're
be,
there,
you know?
you see all the options. I'd be like, okay, I could have been a kid selling sugarcane. I could have been this guy working at the cell phone place. I could have been this like engineer or whatever. I could have been this taxi driver. And then you go hang out with like your family or your relatives, and then you kind of look at what they do and go like, man, maybe I'd just be like that guy or this lady or whatever, like what your life would have been. And it's not all good or all bad.
Just different.
It's just different.
Yeah. Seems like they have free time.
What they have over there that
It's
we
a little, like,
don't
quieter.
necessarily have here is because we are like first generation, they all have like 4 generations of like, we're all here in this city. So like when I would go to Hyderabad, it would be like, yeah, your mom grew up here, your mom's mom grew up here, your mom's mom, you know what I mean? Like there's like, I can go down the street and then that's like, your grandpa used to play with that guy's grandpa or whatever. So there's this sense of community.
They've been there for a long time.
Yeah.
There's like oral history
that we are sort of the beginning of here.
I'm trying to start that here.
You're trying to start that here? Yeah, you've been hopping on.
This is my neck of the woods.
Yeah, what Fahim does is he'll hop on a city bus and just sort of try to just start some connections.
This is like the first of many generations that'll be on the Reseda-Tarzana border.
And that's what he says. He says this is the first of many generations.
First of many.
And he tries to take a very Game of Thrones kind of approach, connecting people together.
It's got to start
somewhere. Okay, so then you're obviously you do stand up. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that you do.
Do they?
No, they know. People know. People who know.
People who know, man.
Know.
I'm like a speakeasy.
And you know what I think it is? I think it's like, have you ever heard this quote of like, nothing ever happens when you want it to? It's a fun thing to say, but it's harder to live.
Yeah.
I feel that. You feel that. All of us, we feel that. But there is a thing of like, it is all the comedians that we liked, all the comedians that I liked when I was growing up, 99% of them, they all got big in their 40s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, late 30s, 40s. I
Late
mean,
30s, 40s.
That's the one good thing about stand-up is
We're
that
the only profession
that gets better and better
as you get older.
Sports it's got to be tough. Yeah,
Even in acting, I feel the clock ticking. You're like, there's certain parts where I'm like, man, I would have loved to be in Dune.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, sorry.
With a tube in your nose.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
That'd be so sick,
Ride
dude.
a sandworm.
God, even if I was just a guy just selling food on a corner, just hot dogs on the corner or something like that.
What? You think there's bacon wrap hot dog guys in the Dune world? Just totally break you out. There's walking on the sand, and you're just like, hot dog.
I would be the guy selling pupusas while they're watching fucking Timothy ride that sandworm. Come on. I'm out here selling drinks.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I got past at the Comedy Store, end of 21. So basically 22 is like 2 years ago. And there's like, Emily is booking it now, and she's amazing, and I love her because she's great, but also because she passed me. And but
like she gets it.
She gets it. She honestly does. But
no,
I do feel like in that era of like when we first met and stuff, when you were going to the Comedy Store, it was a different place. It wasn't like, it's always like, you've said that like every club kind of goes through its waves.
Yeah.
Of like the improv was like popping.
When I first moved to LA, It was the improv. The improv was hot.
It was the
improv
most
in the factory.
Yeah, and then the factory was popping.
Meltdown was hot. That's not really a club, but that was really popping.
And then now, like around when, then when you were there, like the Comedy Store really was sort of like the black sheep of the clubs.
Oh yeah, no one would go there. No industry would ever go there.
There weren't ever really that many people there. Like I remember going and seeing you there, and you'd be doing like 12:30 a.m. spots, and it'd be like 2 people in the audience, and like they would both be homeless.
Right.
And it was essentially like a Greyhound station.
Yes.
Is what the Comedy Store was for like.
But there's a beauty in that.
It was amazing
because it's like a brush fire. When it's in a lull like that, nothing matters. And comedy thrives when nothing matters. You're not performing to get chosen by a guy to do a larger thing.
Yeah.
You're doing it because something's bursting out of you, or it's like true expression.
You want to try something just to try something.
Because it doesn't matter.
Yes,
There's zero stakes.
And that matters a lot in comedy. I think that's like hard in LA because there's so few shows.
Yeah.
That I feel like a lot of people outside of like open mics don't have places to just like truly experiment in front of just an audience.
Yes.
And so you got in.
I got that.
And you got like several years of just like pure experimentation.
When nothing mattered. I was going up late. There's 10 people in the crowd.
Who was there at that time?
Well, here's the thing. It's all about frame of mind as well, because there's a system at the Comedy Store. You get passed, and then you get like a really, really late time slots.
Yeah.
The sweet spot is between like 9:30 to 11 or 9:30 to 10:30. That's the meat of the show.
Yeah.
And at the very, very end, people get tired.
It's a long
time. It's a long show.
They've had like 4 drinks.
Yeah, the human body can only take so much comedy. So for real,
and this has been studied in labs.
It's like radiation. You can't be 3 hours in a show and be like, unless you're a sociopath. Yes.
Yeah.
But you have to remind yourself that even though there's 10 people, those people are still in those chairs. They want to be there.
Yeah.
So if you have that attitude of like, let's have fun for whatever this is. Let me be present. Let me perform for the reality of the situation, but still have a positive
And you're
outlook.
always figuring something out.
Yes. And then nothing matters as well. But the people who go into that 10 people in a crowd and are like, why are we even doing this? You've bombed before you even started because you're in the wrong frame of mind.
Yeah.
So that was like a real important thing to notice, is that if they're in the chairs, they want to be there. They're not your enemy.
And also I found that like with smaller audiences, it's not necessarily that they won't think something isn't funny. They just won't have that big thing because they've been there for 3 hours.
It's
but if something is funny, they'll still be like, you'll get a response enough to know that like that is something. I should hold on to that, you know? And that's important. That's really important. What's the strategy for the next couple of years?
I don't know, man. I think stand-up is my strong
suit. Do you plan ahead at all?
A little bit.
Okay.
Like, like maybe every year I'll kind of, all right, what are my goals? What do I want to do next year? What am I? So I just put a special out. I did that.
You have a big calendar?
What do you mean with like?
You have a big calendar. My brother got a big-ass calendar. He bought a big-ass calendar on Amazon.
Nice. To visualize it?
It's the size of a fucking wall.
Whoa.
And then
like kittens too? Just like
yeah. And it's actually kind of scary when you look at the whole year. I hated it. Right when you opened it, I felt guilt for some reason.
Because it's so blank?
Because you look at the year and you go, damn, the year's so short. When you see it like played out, you're like, damn. And then you think about all the years. Like I have never done a full hour special, and I go, look at all these years. And I haven't done a special for so long that there's like 2 other hours that are completely useless that I could have put out.
Man, I should have been putting out albums. There are so many bits. And also you have to pick that fruit when it's ripe. Because I don't even know how to do those jokes anymore. And I was a different person at that time.
You can't talk about like, oh, it's crazy when you go to a party and they bring a keg or whatever. And you're like, I'm not 20.
You're not that person.
You're not that person anymore. It doesn't read. And it also doesn't read on you.
Doesn't read. It's a bad color.
Yeah, it would be sad if you were like, he's going to high school parties? What kind of creep is this guy?
When I would wear a choker in the 90s, it was awesome. But now they think I'm some weird leather daddy. Yeah. There was a time. People don't want to see that from me now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think every year.
Yeah, he keeps talking about dating freshmen, which is weird. He can't.
I'm like, these bits used to work. These bits used to work when I was a sophomore. Yeah. But now they think I'm a creep.
But that's the thing of like putting it out for. Yeah, so like it's every year you kind of look at like I want to do this.
Yeah, there's like a holistic approach, and then there's like every couple of months, let me whatever.
Yeah.
My big epiphany or breakthrough, or just sometimes you have to, like, what's your genius zone? What do you work? I think stand-up is what I do best. And also, Hollywood turned me into this. they turned me into a stand-up monster.
He goes in front of the Hollywood sign and he goes,
"You did this to me!" Like, I'm on stage. You think I want to be great at this? I don't want to. You think I want to be one of the greatest? No, I'm not one of the greatest. But
I wanted to be a mediocre comedian, but I wanted to be like on Euphoria.
I just wanted to host some CW stuff every so often, and just stand up was a thing I did in between jobs.
You think I want to have these many tags in this joke?
Yeah. You think I want to post this many Instagram reels? I want to do crowd work.
I want to do crowd work. I want to walk out of an Erewhon with Miley Cyrus. I don't want to think of all these bits.
I want to fucking pop star. You think I want to be a highly skilled stand-up comedian?
You did this to me, you son of a bitch.
But, like, indirectly, yes, because I think when I started stand-up, it was always a means to an end, because I loved SNL, and I was hoping to get on that, and I was hoping, so, like, stand-up, I'm like, oh,
Did you test for SNL?
I did, but it was during the pandemic, so it didn't even feel real. I was just blasting. I got really far. They wanted to see
the tapes.
First,
what's the process? All
right, well, there's 2 times. But when we were doing Goat Face, they wanted
a sketch group that we did.
Watch it. It's
Incredible.
on Paramount Plus now. You can rent it on Amazon. Goat Face, check it out.
Yep.
If you like Us on a Blanket, you're gonna
love us.
Slightly higher production value. The blanket flies and go. Yo, that do it in post. When the pod is done, just have us be like,
it's a fly carpet. I go bye, and then we float out.
Just like a reading rainbow exit. Just like, bye guys.
Oh my God! I can show you the. That's our theme song.
And then we go into the sky, and then we take a detour into the Euro place.
Or we get on the carpet, and then we just sit in traffic.
And then you see both of us, and you're like,
yeah.
Come on.
I'm trying to get GPS to work. I'm like, we got to get on the 405.
We have the entire sky, but we choose to sit in
traffic.
We choose to stay in traffic. We're
hovering because we follow the rules.
We obey the law. We're guests in this country, man.
Oh, God.
What was? Oh, yeah, Goat Face.
Yeah.
So it was just bad timing because I was so excited to do Goat Face and all that. But then SNL was the dream.
Right.
And they want you to test. And it was IO West. So I did my SNL thing. I did it there. Didn't go any further because, like, I think if you did, then you would go to New York. So that was the end of that one. And then during the pandemic, I submitted a writer's packet. Like, Neil Brennan put in a good word for me, and then he was helping me with the packet and stuff. So I submitted a packet of sketches. Yeah. I just wanted to be on that show as a writer, you know?
Sure, yeah.
And then I get word that, like, hey, they want stand-up from you. They want to see some stand-up. So I sent 5-minute tape in of me doing stand-up.
Yeah.
They go, they like that. They want another 5.
It's you yelling at the camera.
Yeah. You turn me, Lorne! Look at me! I'm like,
to Bane?
I'm doing a WWE like intro package. How do you think Studio 8H? You think you can handle me? You turn me into this. Your sketch crew can't handle this.
SummerSlam in New York.
I'm too raw.
Yeah.
I'm sweating for some reason. So
you sent in a packet
sent in a packet. Didn't hear anything about that. And they go, like, they want you to send in a stand-up. So I sent in 5 minutes. They go, they like this. Yeah. Can you send another 5? I sent another 5 in. They go, they like it. They want you to test, like, do stand-up. So everything's shut down, though. So I'm doing stand-up in my fucking townhouse in front of a green screen. I'm just, because it's the pandemic.
Oh,
it's the pandemic.
God.
So I'm just doing, like, 5 minutes. And then I think I do Lance at the end, too.
Yeah.
And then I send that in. And then they go, it's going far. And then I guess the writers, and it went to the very, very last stage.
Wow.
Where, like, Lorne was looking at it, I guess, and the writers. But this is all a game of telephone. It doesn't feel real.
Yeah, it doesn't feel real.
And so if the world wasn't a pandemic, I would be on that stage.
Yeah,
well, I don't know about
but
I would at least be auditioning on that stage.
Yeah.
Like those stories you hear.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it. I didn't move any further. Sure. But, like, I would have loved to have gotten rejected on that stage, even, you know?
At least to be
for
rejected
that story,
properly.
To have that experience of being in Studio 8H, standing on that stage.
Getting to walk around there, hang out.
And, like, I don't get to have that memory because of the pandemic. Because it doesn't even feel real.
Well, I don't want to surprise you, but
Lorne,
you're actually going to tape your second tape here at the park.
Oh my God! Okay.
Yeah.
Great to be here. So many geese. So many geese. So it turned me into this, like, because I didn't really book a ton of acting things that would take me off the stand-up path.
Sure.
Because I would do little Hollywood stuff here and there, but then I would.
By the way, I'm here to tell you, There's no as a person that acts a lot.
You do so much. Even like when I knew you way back when, Asif was the guy who was like working so much.
But I'm telling you, even with as much as I work, it's still not enough. Now every show is 10 episodes. What am I gonna do with the other 40 whatever weeks out of the year? And now because the entertainment landscape is so separate, everything, it's like you have somebody that you have the people that you know from Instagram, you have the people that you know from TikTok, there's the people that you know from the Europlace, there's people that you know from HBO, there's people you know from Hulu, it's all fractured now, so that like when I go, because we came up in a time where if you had a TV credit, you could go to a club and you'd immediately be sold out because they're like, oh my God,
that's the guy.
This
from
guy
the thing.
did Letterman or some shit like that. It's sold. The weekend sold out. But now because there's so many, our attention span is so fractured, for better or for worse, right? There's pros and cons to it.
It is.
But because of that, even though I've done so much that it's been like it never feels like enough because. I used to initially, I remember I did like a club like after I did like WandaVision, which was like a huge show. And I remember doing a club and I had to like promo still so fucking hard. And I was like, I don't get it. I did the thing. Yeah, why? What is this? And then I had to like sit back and then I was like talking to my buddy Ramsey who opens with me.
I know Ramsey,
Yeah, he's great. And I was like, you know what it is? It's the people who watch WandaVision, they don't know that I do stand-up. I'm a separate entity to them entirely. The only way would be at the end of WandaVision if there was an ad.
Come see me in Minneapolis.
Come see me at the Mall of America.
You're improving all the time. They're like, also everything was great up until you plugged your stand-up dates.
Yeah,
at the
this
end.
comedy club doesn't exist in the in this version of the MCU. Yeah, in the multiverse. Yeah, this comedy club doesn't exist in the multiverse.
But what about the Brea Improv? I don't think the Brea Improv exists in the WandaVerse as well.
Yeah. Doctor Strange is not stopping by the Tempe Improv. Yeah. So because of that, I was like, oh, everything is so fractured, so that even if you are acting a bunch, I still have to be like, people who know me from stand-up and people who know me from TV are almost separate. But I feel like the show that I'm doing that's coming out in January, I feel like that will be my best opportunity
to get that crossover.
Of getting across. Only because most of the shows that I've done have been like what we felt like in real life, where it's like all white people and then you're the one guy kind of thing.
We're the guy handing a white guy a beer.
Sure.
After a long run. That's how I like to characterize a lot of the minority roles. Is just like a Michelob Ultra commercial where a guy, he like gets off a run and like, you look parched, my white friend.
Or you're in the lab being like, these are the coordinates, boss. Yeah. With your headset.
Well, we are good with coordinates.
We are good with coordinates. God
you
forbid.
Can't trust us with the coordinates.
Good and bad coordinates. We're gonna get them.
We're great at delivering the coordinates, but if you give me coordinates and I'm out here, I don't know what to do.
Latitude, longitude.
What am I, white? I don't know where I'm going.
So like because of that, because of the show being all like South Asian people, I feel like all South Asian people will at least give it a chance or at least hear about it. And I feel like because of that, then I might have a trickle to like Instagram, TikTok, whatever, and then that's where it's just stand-up and some acting stuff. But I had to make a conscious decision to just only have pretty much either acting stuff or stand-up on my Instagram and TikTok, just so people at least have an idea. Like when I go, hey, blah, 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 they can be like, oh, yeah, you do stand-up. Because so many times I would have the people who know me from stand-up come see me do stand-up, and then there'd be another group of people who just know me from TV, and then those people, the TV people, would come up to me and be like, oh, I didn't even know you're good. I had no idea you'd been doing like
stand-up forever.
Yeah,
longer than acting even.
So it's like a completely separate.
Everything's branding.
Everything is like separate in a way, and our whole goal is to kind of like
merge them somehow.
Yeah, merge them and like have the people that you think will like your stuff to just know who you are.
I guess like it's good in that way that I haven't done as much acting stuff, but like I've just been hitting stand-up so hard that branding wise if people do like me, they know that's what I do.
Yeah.
They don't really know me from anything else.
Sure.
So it's been nice to slow build that way. And I just gravitate towards it, I think, in stand-up, so I put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah.
And everything I've ever gotten has been because of stand-up, so I think that's my approach.
Honestly, I'm kind of same, too. Even the acting stuff, sometimes, like, the best way to get people to, like, see me or whatever would be, like, You just come to a show.
Mm.
Because you can tell in stand-up. Stand-up is one of the only things within like 5 minutes you can tell, like,
Yeah,
okay,
I get the vibe. I get the way he talks.
Yeah.
I like his writing, his brain, whatever.
It's a great business card.
It's not too much of a departure to like plug him into a thing.
Right.
And also, I like this area I'm in now where I'm just like so established as a stand-up at this point.
Yeah.
That I would like to get acting things where it's more collaborative, or they know what I do and they want to find it with me, or they like, nah, we want you. Because just for
Why
me
don't you
to,
make your own show?
For me to win it as an actor is just so hard, I think, because there's so many great actors out there.
Why don't you make your own show?
What do you mean? Like, I could, I guess. Like, don't you need to sell it or whatever? And
You could make like you could definitely write a pilot or have a pitch for a pilot and shoot a teaser.
yeah,
Shoot a 6-minute teaser.
I guess so. I guess
The
part of
world
it
is
is that.
yours.
Yeah, I suppose I could do that.
You know,
It's just so much easier to be like, I'm just gonna go do a bit to the club.
But
I need to be.
that's the old thing.
I need to be proactive and just
You gotta
like
be proactive.
do the bigger thing.
Yeah.
Because I've done 3 specials.
Yeah, you know what the deal is.
It's on lock. I've done it.
Yeah. That's
So-
that's the next thing that I have to do. My goal is like to get a special out there and then just get into because I'll sometimes open for Joe Coy sometimes.
Yeah.
Like when he's around and whatever, and he'll be like, "Hey, pop in" or whatever. And the cool thing is just seeing the turnaround. And it's like once you're in the system and it's not scaring you anymore. I think because I've never done a proper one before, it's kind of a little daunting. But I feel like once you get in the system, it's like, oh,
You know what it is?
boom, boom, boom,
Rinse
and you
and
trust
repeat.
yourself. You know you're
Yes,
funny, and it's like,
yes.
I'll be good. You know you've been doing it this long. You've come up with so much material. You'll be fine. You'll think of more material.
Yeah.
Oh, last question. What do you when you were 12,
Right.
right? 12-year-old Fahim is here.
Like it was yesterday.
12-year-old Fahim is here, right? Dude, check out all these fucking geese.
Just chilling, dude.
These geese, incredible.
I told you it was a good park.
This is a solid park.
You were like,
dude.
"Are there geese?" And I was like,
Dude, a
and I
lot of
go,
podcasts
"Is there
have no
geese?"
audience. Could you pan to the geese right now?
Check out our studio audience.
Look at this studio audience right now, dude.
One is really hyped about this pod. Did you see
God,
that one?
Front row.
He's staring at us.
Wow, we got a lot of geese. I just want to tell you that there's no other podcast that you're listening to
That has
or
this
watching
many?
that has these many geese. I dare you, Rogan.
Right, yeah. Pigeons, maybe. But geese?
Oh, by the way, yeah. So,
12-year-old me.
12-year-old you shows up. What does he think about you?
Oh, interesting. Wow.
Pros and cons. What is he just like? Just off the rip, a 12-year-old is rude as hell, but he's probably going to be impressed with certain things too. So, what is he proud and also going to roast you about?
He'll be sad that we didn't get SNL. That'll be the first thing. Like,
Okay.
oh, we didn't get it?
Okay.
There's that. But then he'd be juiced about the other things, like, oh, cool, you were in a Tina Fey movie.
Yeah.
You did the Tonight Show.
3 specials.
You make good money,
Yeah.
like doing what you love. The specials, yeah. Oh, you're respected amongst like a lot of your
Yeah.
peers and like, oh, you're like a really, really good
Comics comic.
stand-up.
Yeah.
I guess maybe that. Yeah. But
Like,
the
what-
SNL thing would be a gut punch.
What would he think about your personal life?
He'd be like, oh, you're not married? My 12-year-old me is a lot like my mom. I'm
Yeah,
learning.
same. 12-year-old me would be
12-year-old
like,
me's been talking to my mom.
12-year-old me would be like, what
Yeah.
happened to all these hoes you were saying
Yeah,
you're
what-
going to get? What are you talking about, dog? You're in
You know,
Hollywood?
no, let me-
You're doing a
yeah, yeah.
podcast on a picnic
Let me
blanket with a
funny-
guy?
12-year-old me, his first question is, how many pogs do you have? I gave him away. He's like, what?
You gave him away?
And he just time travels back. He goes, I can't be here right now.
Yeah.
What about your 8-ball slammer?
Yeah.
I gave it away.
12-year-old me would be like, why aren't you eating candy? You have
My
money.
God, dude.
What are you doing, dude?
Do you ever? Sometimes I forget that I can buy candy.
You can
and
buy
ice
as much
cream.
candy as you want, but that's the problem. Is like once you get to a place where you have money, the doctor goes, "Well, you are at risk of diabetes. It does run in
fuck.
your family."
So the message is: eat as much candy as
Do
you
it
can
now,
when you're a
kids.
kid. Don't listen to your parents. Cram as much candy and ice cream in your mouth as you can.
Yeah,
Because there'll be a day the doctor is gonna be a buzzkill.
like you will literally die if you do it. Mine was
you're eating Sour Punch like as he's telling you.
I thought you were gonna be a basketball player.
Oh, I wanted that too.
Yeah, and then my second dream was to be a news anchor,
Whoa, that's a weird
like
one.
a Charlie Rose.
You can still do that.
I mean, I guess I could still do that.
Are you saying this isn't that?
I guess this is sort of the kind of that. And then to be like like a comedian. But the comedian part, I feel like he would be really impressed, and the acting stuff, he'd be really impressed.
Yeah.
But yeah, he would be like, "You're not married. Like, really, we're
Right,
such children of immigrants. He'd be like, what kind of fucking loser are you, dude? You should have like 19 kids by now, and all that. But yeah, overall, I think 12-year-old us would be
pretty stoked
about us. Just the mere fact that I could tell 12-year-old that I live in LA.
Yeah.
And I do comedy. He'd be
And
like,
that you're doing what you love.
He'd be pissed that I don't surf, though.
Oh, but you could change all these things
That's true.
to impress 12-year-old you.
That's true.
Yeah, I think they would also be cool that, like, oh, we didn't do the thing that you're supposed to do.
Oh my God, that was like 99% of it.
Look, I did it for 4 years.
Dude, by the way, I still get hit up. Like when I do shows, I'll still get hit up by, like when I'm doing shows, people come up to me afterwards and they'll always be like 5 or 6 like brown dudes or girls. They'll be like, dude, I'm so happy they do comedy because, you know, I'm still working at Abbott Labs or whatever the job is. I'm still
Oracle.
doing this. And I've always wanted to do it, but I just never did it.
I get this sometimes.
They're living vicariously through us.
But I'll get one that's a little sadder than that. Like, that one's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll get, you know, like a 45-year-old brown guy coming up to me afterwards and be like, because I have this story of working at Boeing and then leaving, so I'm like a beacon of hope. Like, I'm a guy who got out.
You're the lighthouse.
Because you didn't get out of it. Yeah. No. So, like, I actually worked in industry for 4 years, and the romantic notion of me, of my story, is that I was working at Boeing, didn't even have comedy on my radar.
Yeah.
They gave me too many stress analysis jobs to do, and then I just broke my pencil, and I was like, fuck this. And I went to an open mic, and everyone's like, who is this guy? Because that's the romantic.
Yeah, you immediately crush. It's like a, It's like a TV show or a movie. Yeah.
So they think that's what it is instead of me going
toiling.
Because no, I was 18 when I graduated high school and I started going to the comedy clubs that summer.
Yeah.
So before I even went to college, I was doing stand-up.
Yeah.
And stand-up and engineering was this thing I did like side by side.
So by the time you quit, you already had so many years of experience.
And engineering was a means to an end. Like it was just a job to have before I could do stand-up full time. It wasn't like I was an engineer and said fuck this, and I just grabbed the mic out of like Chappelle's hand, and I'm like, yo, you want to see some real comedy? You know?
And he's like, hey man, what can you say?
Yeah. And he goes, whoa, you want to open for me?
Yeah.
But that's what they think it is. So because I'm a beacon of hope for these guys, and they go like, so you left Boeing Aerospace to do stand-up comedy. Like, I'm 45, I have 3 kids, and
you think in 6 months I can become famous?
Yeah. He's like, I write poems. Like, what advice do you have for me? And I just want to be like, yo, it's done, dude. Like it left.
You got kids, dude.
You're on the dock, and you're late. The Carnival cruise is already it's hit its first city.
Yeah.
You have your luggage. It's like and I don't have the heart to be like, it's too late for you to be like, yeah, just keep writing, man, keep writing.
Damn. All right. I mean, that's incredible. Now, the last thing we do on the show, we do every show, we end it with motivation, because I think motivational people are full of shit.
Right.
And just to prove how easy it is,
and
that it should not be something that you're paying for, what I provide is free motivation. And so what we do is we'll just get a word. My brother will just give us a word, and then if you don't mind, we'll put music underneath it.
Please.
And then you either can do it solo or we can do it together.
I like together.
Okay, we'll do together.
We're motivational. We're like tag team.
Yeah, we're tag
Tony
team.
Robbins.
So we'll put some motivational music, some sort of cheesy music, and then we will
dispense wisdom.
Yeah, we will just improvise some motivation. Amjad, do you have like a word? Any word? Okay, picnic. Picnic's a good one. Okay. Here we go, and we can start the music. Okay, so, and you have to get really intense. I'm gonna take my glasses off.
Which cameras? Do we look into all of them or like one?
You can look into as many of them
cool.
as really
Variety.
explore the space.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, so in life, there are many options.
This is true.
And you know, when you go out and you're young and you're impressionable and you're out in the world, it is almost as if you are in a market. And that market presents you with all of the possible outcomes of your own life.
Yes. Variety,
right? And you look at that when you're young and you're full of hope and you're saying, what if I could do that?
It's all possible.
It's all possible.
You think you have unlimited time, but time is what's precious.
You
may have unlimited choice, but you have finite time.
You have finite time and you have a finite life.
Finite life. Think about Genghis Khan.
Think about Genghis Khan.
Where is he?
He's not alive anymore.
Think of how accomplished Genghis Khan is.
And he's still not alive.
What of it?
And now I want you to hold on to that. Go ahead and write that down.
Genghis over here.
Genghis over here. You want to keep Genghis over here. And what I want you to do is think about, you're still in that market of all the possibilities. Imagine all the raspberries could be like, maybe you could have been a dancer. Or the strawberries could be like, maybe you could have been a guy who works at Boeing. Or the apples could be, maybe you could have been the president of the United States of Somalia. Who knows? Why limit yourself to America? There is no United States of Somalia, but that's not the point. I want you to think outside of this market, because you have a basket, right? You have a basket, but what's happening is everybody in your life, when you're growing up,
you see their basket. You see their basket.
Exactly.
You go, that looks like a good basket.
What's in your basket?
That looks like a good basket.
Yeah,
he has a cart?
He has a cart. And then people are telling you, I want you to put this in, I want you to eat this.
You know what the problem with that is?
What?
That's not their basket.
That's not their basket.
It's your basket.
It's your basket. And only you should be in control of what
goes into your basket.
What goes into your basket. You know yourself better than anyone.
Why are you allotting space in your finite basket for somebody else?
Fuck them.
Don't they have their own basket?
Yeah, get your own fucking basket. I'm not paying for this.
No.
You want me to do my life and have to pay for my own? You're not even paying for it. I have to pay for what you want for me? For my life?
It's a double whammy.
That's too many whammies.
Too many whammies.
So what I'm asking you here is to fill your basket. What we are asking you here is to donate money. No. What we're asking you to do is put in your basket the things that you want, so that your life, instead of being
a basket for others,
becomes a basket for yourself. So that when you live your life, it's not in despair, because you're going to be in this point of life regardless. But what we're asking you to do is show up to this picnic
with items
that are of your life, so that you're having a picnic of your decisions. Your own picnic. I want you to live your own life, and I want you to take that.
Don't live someone else's picnic.
Don't live someone else's fucking picnic.
Find your own shade. Find your own tree. Find your own picnic basket, and remove from it treasures from your own doing and decision and heart.
You are you, and don't let anyone ever tell you that you aren't. I'm Asif Ali. This is Fahim Anwar.
And have a great picnic.
Have a great picnic. Eat up, bitch!
I like you put your sunglasses on. I'm not taking mine off. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye. In the language, which he thinks he's like being so smooth, this is the translation. He goes, "This day is good, mister. Don't you see?" The guys driving did not even bother to look into the rearview mirror, heard it, and was like, absolutely not. And I was crying.
Good.
No acknowledgement.
Good.
It wasn't even like where someone's trying, because we're not white.
Yeah.
So he was like, well, you guys are just mentally ill, I think.
Yeah.